Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach and author, The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we got a clip here of a woman who is in her 40s, and it's a real short clip, and she's just telling how she fumbled at least two good men in her lifetime. And this is something that I always say, but we're gonna let her talk. So here we go.
Fumbled two good men. I know that in my lifetime, in my journey, both of them challenged me as a woman. They put a mirror in my face and said, "You need to fix that. Why would you do that? Why do you act like that? Why do you talk like that?" And I was like, "Oh no, oh no, I'm me. You can't." But the fact of the matter was, they was like, "Okay, you won't get it right. Deuces, I'm out." And there I was to sit in that. The first time it didn't click, but the second time it did. But there I was, now as 40-year-old woman trying to figure that out. I fumbled two good men. I know that in my lifetime, in my journey, both of them challenged me as a woman. They put a mirror in my face and said, "You need to fix that. Why would you do that? Why do you act like that? Why do you talk like that?" And I was like, "Oh no, oh no, I'm me. You can't." But the fact of the matter was, they was like, "Okay, you won't get it right. Deuces, I'm out." And there I was to sit in that. The first time it didn't click, but the second time it did. But there I was, now as 40-year-old woman trying to figure that out. I fumbled.
And there it is. And we know why. We know why she ended up fumbling these men. 2 times she missed her husband. And I tell y'all this all the time. Women after a certain point, after a certain age, usually beyond 40 years old, especially when they start hitting mid 40s and kicking their way into 50, if they've never been married before all of that time, they probably missed their husband. It wasn't so much that no man was interested or no man wanted them. Somebody wanted them. And it's not always the case that they didn't want the guys that wanted them. A lot of times they do be wanting the guys that want them, but they can't tolerate the man because they can't tolerate his order. Okay. We know why. We know what happened. Not only was she hard-headed, she was high, yellow, and cute. She was high, yellow, and cute when she was young. And again, I'm not saying that to be colorist, but we know what comes with it, particularly in the Black community. Okay. A lot of times, if you are pretty and you are what old folks used to call high yellow, you get a lot of male attention. Pretty girls get male attention anyway, but you know what I mean, right? And so she had to pick of the litter as a young woman. Men are giving her a bunch of attention. They want to talk to her. They want to be with her. They want to be her man. Some of them want to be her husband. Okay. While you're young and fine and got the pick of the litter from the men that you are around, you have no shortage of male attention, or you don't have any shortage of men trying to get with you and stuff like that. You have a tendency to think that there's always going to be a man somewhere at some point that like you and that want you, right? But the thing that a lot of these chicks fail to understand is, even now, there's probably a man somewhere that want her, but what's the quality of this man versus the quality of man that you could have gotten when you were younger and when they were hot on your trail? So it seems like by her explanation, she had at least 2 different men at 2 different points in her life to where these men did the same thing, and she fumbled both times for the same reason. They come to her and, they want to be with her. They're treating her right. This is a good relationship. This is a healthy relationship. But the men are doing what men do, Men who are intentional, who want to marry you, who want to be husbands to you, they will do their best to bring their best foot forward on bringing order, right? And relationships in general are mirrors. Relationships are mirrors. Everybody gets a mirror when you get into a relationship. The women aren't the only one that get mirrors. Okay? The men get mirrors too. Because whatever it was that was your flaw or something like that, or your shortcoming, that's going to get brought up, right? Intentionally or not. Just situations and just being in a relationship going to bring it up. So this is what we're saying. Whatever her flaws were, whatever it was that was going on with her, she got a mirror put up by the man that wants to be in her life, that wants to be with her in a serious manner. So he's going to, whether intentionally or not, put up a mirror to her. These behaviors need to be corrected in order to sustain a marriage or relationship going forward. This doesn't mean you're like this horrible person all the time, but in order to have a healthy relationship, you're going to have to see yourself from a different perspective. And some of these behaviors that you have, some of these attitudes that you have, some of these perspectives that you have, some of the ways that you're thinking and behaving, this is going to be the ruin of the relationship. And like any good lion, once you can't get it together, once you show them that you cannot be teachable, you are not coachable, you do not listen, and you do not course correct, they bid you farewell. And they go find women that are going to do that. And a lot of women miss that. They miss it. And in the moment, they see it as a man trying to do this and trying to do that and control them. And they're trying to tell them what to do. You know what I'm saying? And like she said, well, I'm me. You can't tell me. You know what I'm saying? I can get another one. Blah, 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 blah. You ain't the only one. And all of that foolishness, rolling your neck and acting a fool. But now what? These men are likely in healthy relationships with women that was coachable to them. And you might be trying to figure out, well, these women don't look as good as I looked when I was with them. It don't matter. The women was coachable. He got with a woman that was going to listen to his system, order, and structure and follow his leadership and follow his teaching. So you wanted the perk of these men and all of the other things that they got their life together, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, what you didn't want was his order. And that's the majority of what's going on with these women. And I encourage the men, because sometimes I hear the men say, well, we don't know the difference between, a good woman and a bad one. Like, I don't understand how you don't. I really don't get it at this point in 2025. I don't know how you not getting, how you can't make the discernment, because hyenas behave the same way, and they've been behaving the same way forever. Since forever, they do the same stuff. You know a hyena from a non-hyena when they can't take your leadership, when they cannot take your SOS, when they cannot take your system, order, instruction, and your leadership is sound, like it's sound. You be knowing what you be doing. You know what you be talking about, right? And you try to apply that order. You got a good leadership style, or whatever, and you are simply trying to make her aware of what's going on, this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be, and she just cannot do it. She cannot, she will not, she don't really listen to it. She might nod and say, okay, but time bears out that she not really taking it in. She's not really taking these instructions. Like, she's not getting it. Like, she's not, and the effort is not even truly there. Like, in the moment when you talking to her about it, yeah, she'll break down crying, I'm sorry, okay, that's fine. But at the same time, you're an adult and I need to see the improvements. Like, I need to see the results of the discussions and the talk that we had. Like, I need to see what you're going to do. And if she don't never change it, or she be getting upset and it's an argument every time you be trying to apply your SOS. Every time you try to apply your leadership, she got an argument in her mouth about it, or she got a rebuttal about it, or she can't focus because all of that foolishness, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. Lionesses follow instructions, even when it's hurtful to us, even when our feelings are hurt, even if we cry, even if we get upset, we might poke our lip out about it. But the difference that you're gonna see is you're gonna start seeing us course correct that stuff. We're gonna start working on that stuff, and you're going to start seeing, okay, wait a minute, she did listen to it. Like she took what I said, and even though I know it hurt her feelings, and I know she, was moping around, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, all I want is the different result. For to a certain extent, whatever her feelings is, I can't help all that. But at the same time, if she's making the adjustments and the changes truly, then that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. A woman that's coachable. That's what's being looked for. That's what's being looked out for. Hyenas are notoriously hard-headed. That's all it is to it. They're very, very hard-headed to the point where you can't continue the relationship because she's being so hard-headed about whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So she's admitting it right here, something that I've said all the time. But jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.